if you guys haven't heard, augments actually have been tailored on 2.1 at the start of this patch. It's been reported by some players who are practicing for the official pro circuit that augments, you could influence them based on your stage 1 board, specifically the end of stage 1. If you have something like Star Guardian on your board, you are more likely to get things like Tiny Team. And if you have something like Gnar on your board, you are likely to get stuff related to Gnar. And that is a really big deal because I think Kim was tweeting about it, but a few days ago, Kim actually started giving hints towards this by saying, "Did Riot secretly nerf hero augments?" And I remember I was talking about this with Dish Soap actually on the podcast for the TFT Study Hall podcast that I do for TFT Academy. Great podcast, by the way. It's only one of like 2 podcasts anyways in TFT, so you don't have many choices. So it's by default a top 2 podcast in TFT. I was saying like, hey, hero augment choices, did they nerf it? And we were both kind of agreeing like, you know what? That actually might be a good thing if they actually secretly nerfed it. But it wasn't nerfed. It was that people weren't actually playing a stage 1 that tailored towards this. And that's like a big deal. I mean, this second post is a different thing entirely. This is a small aside. Someone's trainer golems end up having their emblems replaced by duplicators as the game kept going. Like every stage that passed, trainer golems replaced one of their emblems with a duplicator. I don't even know how that even happened. But yeah, I was describing at the very beginning of this stream, even before this video, I was describing this set as like the set of natural disasters. Like it almost feels like mass hysteria is breaking out. The bridges are collapsing. The buildings are crumbling. Random earthquake fault lines are erupting in the middle of the road. Just like, what is happening? No one knows what's going on. Are we being invaded by aliens? This is the end of the world. Just like the game is just breaking at the seams. This is probably the most severe TFT has ever gotten from a bad playing experience. Not from like the meta is bad, this unit is overpowered, like Akali is unfun, because that's the usual complaint. It's more like the game actually just doesn't work. And it's like a bad game from like a does it work type of perspective. And TFT right now is in a bad state. This is I personally think if stuff like this actually creates worse experiences overall than bad bounce, because bad bounce, just fix it next patch. Some things are going to be strong. There's always going to be a strong comp. There's always going to be a weak comp. But man, when this happens, people quit the game because it just doesn't work, and that is in my opinion, that is completely unacceptable. It's much more unacceptable than a lot of the bounce misgivings and other things that people usually complain about. And I've been on that. I've been saying that for a long time. I personally hate losing to bugs and things like that way more than anything else. It feels like a waste of my time. It also feels like disrespectful in some ways. It's if I can liken it like an analogy to a restaurant, right? You're going to a restaurant, you're being served food, and it just feels like you know, whether or not you agree with the flavor of the food and like what they're serving on their menu, that's like the balance to me. But when you're serving up bugs and literally just things that are like this happening, and on top of the myriad of other things, right? We can go through every single list of problems. It feels like there's hair in your food, or like there's broken glass. That's what it feels like to me. And it feels like, okay, I'm just not coming back. And I feel like I wouldn't blame players if that's like the mentality they have, because this is just unacceptable. I understand from my personal theory, and I've talked about it a couple times, that Riot has probably accepted where set 15 is, and they say it is what it is. And we're going to like really put a lot of our focus on the end of the year set, because set 16 is going to be the main focus for the TFT Paris Open. It's going to be where a big marketing push is at the end of the year, right? There's going to be like a lot of stuff that Riot's investing towards set 16 onwards. And maybe in their minds, the business and the sensible thing to do is be like, okay, we'll leave behind some folks to work on set 15. But my God, it is a terrible experience right now. It really is. And I know that it might be like a thing where it's affecting competitive players more than they can. There's a lot of players still having fun. There's a lot of players still having fun in TFT. If by all means you're somehow watching this and you are a casual player, be like, well, hey, this is like my second set of TFT. I'm still having fun. You should still have fun. I'm not telling you to stop having fun. Just ignore the rest of what I'm saying here. Ignore what else is saying. Just have fun. Because if you can make it to set 16 and still have, you know, a lot of your trust and your sanity still in place, by all means, you're in a good spot. But for a lot of people who are longtime veterans and experienced players, this is not what we're used to. This is not what we're used to. This is not the experience that I think most people are accustomed to. And perhaps this is not the standard that we should accept. I don't think that this is something that in general we should allow, or not like allow, but like, I mean, how else do I best describe it? I think like if this is the trend the TFT is going to be, if this is something that is regular occurrence, then I think like TFT is going to struggle long term. There's a post that I don't like doing this because I don't like to put Mortdog specifically under the spotlight, but the issue with this is because there's like an old comment, right, that we need to hold Riot accountable for. And I'm just gonna say that this is not necessarily just on Mortdog because the context has changed. Mortdog is no longer posting and streaming as often and whatnot. But like, you know, going back to an old comment here, the most frustrating thing is that some augments legit don't work sometimes. Like this is Spin to Win. Spin to Win, it was a hero augment for Wukong back in set 11. And literally picking the hero augment was averaging like a 6, like an actual 6.0, which is like it actually intentionally made, not intentionally, but it actually made Wukong a terrible unit. And because he was a frontline unit, it would just make you lose the game because it made him so much worse as a unit, and it just didn't work. And some people said that augment stats helped reveal that it was like so bad to pick because it was just literally not working. And then when they removed augments, right, one of the things that was said by Mort was, I commit to making sure to communicate we find these as quickly and broadly public as possible. However, I don't feel like that promise has been honored. And again, the context has changed because Mort said that when he was way more in the spotlight, streaming, communicative, and I believe it's not like attempts haven't been made to do that, but at the same time, it feels like that has not been fulfilled, right? And that is just yet another broken chain. That is the link of trust that I think players are trying to, that feel like they feel misled, they feel betrayed in that sense. We're just like, how can we trust what you say in patch notes? How can we say you're trying to be the company that is player forward, right? Like Riot wants to be the player facing. We listen to the player company, right? It's different when it's like EA. When EA is like, they're just like, you know, you should be proud and feel accomplished for paying us $100 to unlock Darth Vader. It was obviously, that's like an iconic moment. It's an easy thing to take as an example, but like we kind of like, what did you expect from EA? Like that is like what we expect. But for Riot, we expect and want something different. Just admit these bugs are your fault. You know, you are right. You are right. I am the person in charge of quality assurance at Riot Games for TFT specifically. So you got me. It's my fault. It's my fault. My bad. You guys caught me. So going back to the original point here, sorry, I sort of got into a big tangent, but augments have been tailored on 2.1, and so you rarely got things that you didn't want, like a Wraith Crest or a hero augments, because they were tailored. People who knew this had an advantage because they didn't want to play traits to maximize things, and they wanted augments like Portable Forge or place Argon to get Tiny Team. It's been shadow fixed by Riot. And Robin, by the way, Robin's usually one of the people who can just deal with all the bad stuff. He's in the same camp as me. Robin, in all of his age and wisdom and all of his years on this earth, usually is like, I don't care if the meta is bad, so to speak. Like it could be dumb, but I can go whatever. Like TFT is still fun. Robin's saying like, I don't want to play this anymore. But then he's the one being very vocal and complaining. So like now you're starting to have some of the people who are usually ironclad in their mental kind of losing it. And here's the extra kicker on top. They actually reverted the fix. And the reason why this is a big deal is because this was specifically hot fixed only on the tournament realm client. They didn't actually update this for live. This is still live. If you queue up a game of TFT right now, this has only been fixed for the tournament realm. Because some people are like wondering like, why is this such a big deal? So basically what ended up happening, and the drama is, some players were practicing with this knowledge in mind, and other people were not. And so that created a situation where some players are familiar with the tailoring rules and other players were not, but the players apparently reported it to Riot, right? Our group discovered it and the French group knew it as well. Then 12 hours before a tournament, there's an A patch and they said nothing about it. And some players figured it out during scrims. So then you create two camps. You have a camp of player who's like, we found this bug. We reported it ethically, but we didn't tell everybody about it because we're practicing. First of all, they don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but they felt like they confirmed it. And then they practiced with this in mind. Then, like, literally the night before it, that Riot's like, okay, thank you for reporting it. We're going to fix that bug for the tournament realm only. And then they're like, well, now that shifts the entire meta. So it felt like we got punished for reporting it, even though we should report it because you don't want to win, like, through bug abusing in that way. That's pretty dishonorable. And so, and then on the other hand, the other players are like, wow, so now you allow the players, like, this is a bad thing for the game. You shouldn't allow this bug to be the case. Now it's like Riot won't fix bugs because players are mad that the meta shifts right before the tournament. And like they allow something bad to be in the game. I think Travis was posting about it, right? Travis was one of the vocal people about it. Travis won the first TPC. Love being a victim of for fun balancing TFT competitive for sure. Oh, actually, she's complaining about trainer golems. He was also complaining about like you shouldn't let the players like bully and get their way just because they were like mad about the meta. So now there's just drama, and now players are upset. Although to be fair, they're usually upset, but I think this time and many times before, justifiably so. So, anyways, you're caught up. You're caught up. So today's tournament, and if you're watching this video, probably you maybe watch it a day or two or even a week later, but the tournament is largely going to be driven by. This is a significant edge. If you can tail your 2-1 augment and get hero augments, or get something really powerful like Tiny Team. I'm just trying to look up any other good meta stuff. Aura farming, or like, sorry, reducing your odds of getting other trait stuff. So you get aura farming, or maybe you get something really good for any of these other things like the new Janna reroll line. Like it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. And at the highest level, even swinging anything by one game's placement, you could be literally winning the tournament versus getting eliminated because it might advance you further and that might help everything else. So this is yet another chapter in what is going to be one of the sets that live in infamy. I feel like you know what I can say, that this set is not forgettable. This is last set. I play like a daily TFT, guess the TF title, the Wordle champion of the day. And I always struggle in last set whenever they bring up set 14. I'm like, man, I just don't remember set 14. I just kind of wiped it from memory. But this set, at least I won't forget. Is it fixed on live? No, it's currently on live pad. What does tailoring mean? So you know how on 3-2, if you're playing a Star Guardian board, sometimes you see the Star Guardian crest. That's intentional because if every augment was true random, you might get 6 unplayable augments that have nothing to do with your composition. You might get like a crest for Wraith, and you're playing, you know, Soul Fighter. You might get a Tailor trait thing, like a heavyweight Ring the Bell, but you're not playing a single heavyweight. So they give you some tailoring options on your second and third augment. That's now happening to your first augment as well. They're having their first augment as well. Varza, 100 Acre Wood, thank you so much. It's a wasted potential set. I think a lot of people are just disappointed because the set actually has a lot of good bones to it, but it's just not working out, man. This is a great opportunity to pivot into becoming a drama channel rather than just TFT. That's right. I'm expanding my horizons, guys. Do we even care about TFT gameplay? Do we even care about TFT gameplay anymore? We're just here just talking about TFT. This is my transition. Sooner or later, you're going to hear me drop terrible takes on who is the true GOAT of every sport. And then inevitably, I have to do it. I'm going to go as low as making fast food tier lists. That's right. That's just the future of this channel. That's just the future of this channel. And by the way, you already know how my stance on certain fast food chains like Chick-fil-A versus Taco Bell. Anyways, Frodan reacts. That's right. Okay. Is it fair to say these issues can be easier to solve if TK has own clients? I think part of this is the sins. I do think part of this is the sins of the early years of the the Riot client being a complete POS. I do think there's a lot of tech debt. I do think there's a lot of tech debt at play. And it's one of those things where I don't want to draw pitchforks at people that aren't responsible for it. But the reality is, some people at Riot are responsible for this. It's not like it's nobody's fault. It's clearly somebody's responsibility, whether it's the actual QA team or product team or the people that's overseeing the project, right, and neglecting it, or maybe just like I said, the predecessors before it who like put themselves in this Amazon jungle. I've been hearing a lot of Riot people over the past describe the state of the code base of the Riot client, and it's awful. It's like a complete wild, like it's like the Stranger Things, the underworld of Stranger Things. You just might randomly get ganked, and all of a sudden it's just a terrible environment to be in. Yeah, like I think it could someone's responsible for it, but I don't know who it is, and I think the worst thing we could do is just start saying everyone from Riot, but at the same time we can't just be quiet about it either.